How was Israel's identity lost and then stolen? Because it was lost first and then stolen afterwards. What happened? What if I told you Israel never returned into the land since 70 AD? After 70 AD, when the Romans destroyed the land of Israel, the 12 tribes, Israel never returned to the land. It has not happened yet. Not yet. Here is the proof. Let's see. In order for Israel to return, the size of the land, God tells us how big the land should be, which is not the case, as we are going to see. The 12 tribes should be in the land, and yet today we have only Ashkenaz, who are not a part of the 12 tribes. Who are they? Where did they come from? The return of Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach. For Israel to return, Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, will come to be their king and gather them into the land from the four corners of the earth. Have you seen that? No. There will be peace. Once the true people of God return into the land, there should be peace in Israel. Is it the case today? Ask yourself. The sun and the moon shall be no more, because the light will come from God Himself. Let's read. And of course, the people in the land, population, remember, when they left Egypt, they were about 600,000 to 1 million. So you tell me, since they left Egypt, there are only 10 million today? And yet, the Bible, the scriptures tells us, they will be multiplied like the sun. That means the people in Israel are not the true people of God. Let's read. Genesis 15 and 18, when it comes to the size of the land. Let's see. This is the covenant between God Himself and Abraham, telling him how big the land is going to be given will be. Genesis 15 verse 18. The covenant between God and Abraham. God is speaking. I promise to give you descendants all this land from the border of Egypt to the river Euphrates. So God was telling Abraham, the land I'm going to give you will come all the way from Egypt to the river Euphrates. Check yourself on the map how big Israel is supposed to be. We see the same in Exodus 23 verse 31. Let's see. I will make the borders of your land extend from the Gulf of Aqaba to the Mediterranean Sea, and from the desert to the Euphrates River. So, the same thing, from Egypt to Euphrates, from Mediterranean Sea to Euphrates. So God is telling us exactly how big the size of Israel should be when the true people of God will be in the land. Is it the case today? No. Let's see. About the sun and the moon being normal, but God is going to be the source light of His people, as we read from Isaiah 60 and 20. Your sun will never be again, and your moon will be no more, because the Lord your God will be the everlasting light, and your days of sorrow will end. That means when the days of their sorrow will end, that's when they're going to be returned into the land, and God Himself is going to be shining. No more sun, no more moon. Only God light will light for His people. Have you ever seen that happen? No. Let's continue. So now, what happened? This is the same we read from Matthew 24 and 29. Let's see. Soon after the trouble of those days, the sun will grow dark, the moon will no longer shine, the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers in space will be driven from their courses, because God himself is going to be the light to his people. So now what happened? How Israel lost the identity, and how was Israel's identity stolen? Well, all it's because of 70 AD Great Slaughter. This was bigger than genocide. Any genocide you can think of, the 70 AD slaughter by the Romans was way, way bigger and cruel. So, how was Israel's identity lost and then stolen? Because it was lost first because the people fled the country, and then stolen because there was no one in the land. 70 AD, Great Slaughter. The king of the people of God by the Romans in 70 AD, this was the true apocalypse, not genocide. Because normally they used to go into captivity in one location. This time, 70 AD, they were scattered all over the four corners of the earth. So that's how they were lost, and later the Ashkenaz came in 1948 to take over the land. But let's see more on how the land was lost, the identity was stolen, because it was not only done by the Romans, but all nations came together for one purpose: to destroy Israel forever. That's what they fought. Let's read Psalm 83 and 4. Let's read. Come, they say, let us destroy their nation, so that Israel will be forgotten forever. So, after that, all nations came together, conspired all together to destroy Israel, so that the name of Israel could be forgotten forever. That's what they fought. So now, here's the proof that people in Israel now are not the true people of God, because the size of the land is not what God tells us to be. 12 tribes are not there yet. The return of Christ never happened. There's no peace in Israel, right? The people in Israel should be million, if not billion, and the sun and the moon will never be the source of light to God's people anymore. Now you see, all these things happen? No. So what's going on? Somebody's lying. Is the Bible lying? Is God lying? Or somebody somewhere is lying? Your choice. The answer is what? This has never happened as of yet. This is a future event that's going to change the world as we know it. Thank you very much for watching. May God bless you. Shalom, shalom, shalom.